Tonight, the city is getting set to launch another COVID vaccine blitz.
I think that, it'll motivate people to get the vaccine, and yeah, I think it's a great cause.
Called Days of Vaccination, the new campaign aims to reach Toronto's remaining unvaccinated residents. We'll tell you which communities it will be targeting. Plus,
this is the question everyone is asking. How long are we going to wait more?
after clinical exams were canceled at the start of the pandemic, physiotherapy graduates are fed up as their careers remain in limbo 18 months on. And
I feel more comfortable sending my son to school if I knew his teacher was vaccinated.
And the Toronto District School Board announcing today teachers who don't get the COVID-19 vaccine by November could lose their job. Good evening, I'm Kelda Yoon. The City of Toronto is launching another COVID vaccine blitz starting tomorrow. Nearly 80% of residents are now fully vaccinated, but the mayor says the city has hit a roadblock in its vaccination effort, and it hopes its new campaign called Days of Action will provide easy access for those who still haven't gotten a shot. Chris Glover reports.
You know, it has my name on it, it has my everything, all the information.
Quincy Troy Jennis is proud to prove he's vaccinated and is annoyed not everyone at this park encampment in Kensington Market shares his views. Bring it here to get it done here on this site. Do you think that might be the kind of convenient thing that will make it happen for them?
Of course, if one person takes the vaccine and you see someone do it, someone else might do it, you know what I'm saying? So it's like a motivational thing.
The city is putting that thought to the test because even with 23 COVID vaccine clinics operating in Toronto today alone, the vaccination rate is stalling.
The easier we can make it for people, hopefully the more people will get vaccinated.
So far, 79% of eligible residents are fully vaccinated, but the target is to get to 90%.
We want to drive vaccination coverage as high as we possibly can, as quickly as we can.
Starting tomorrow, we are launching what we're calling the Days of Action.
A 4-day blitz with pop-up vaccine clinics all over the city, including in TTC stations, schools, and parks.
This is a mega event made up of a series of micro clinics.
For example, here in Kensington Market on Sunday, there will be a TTC bus pop-up clinic to help people get first or second doses from 11 a.m. to 6 p.m.
I think it's very proactive of the city.
Danielle Tomlinson and her partner are not getting the vaccine, worried about long-term side effects, even though medical experts say it is safe and effective. Is there anything that the city could do to get you vaccinated this weekend?
To make it easier?
Or just to make it happen?
To make it happen, I don't believe so.
June Gurvich is fully vaccinated and only knew one person who wasn't.
And guess what? She's had the shot. And it was just after they said you need a passport to get here, there, and everywhere.
How long have you stayed here?
I come here every day.
Janice toured me around to see if unvaccinated people were receptive to the city's latest push. To have a vaccine clinic come right to you, would that help you change your mind to get vaccinated?
Make no difference to me. That vaccine is worthless. This is a joke, this thing here.
So Quincy, what do you think when you hear like this kind of reaction? Because this is sometimes what I get.
I think that the reaction is bullshit. I think the reaction is kind of childish. Like, I took the vaccine, you know what I'm saying, and it took me a long time to take the vaccine. I was just like him, saying no, I'm not taking the vaccine.
Okay.
And then when I took the vaccine, I was like, hey, you know what? I'm taking the vaccine, not only for me, but for others as well.
And so the city says it knows it's not going to be able to reach all of these people, but it is certainly going to try. And so some of these locations will be open late. The one that I'm at here at Wellesley and Parliament will be operating on Friday until 1 a.m. on Saturday morning. And all of this is meant to make it as easy for people as possible. Chris Glover, CBC News, Toronto.
Over to Peel now, where the region's top doctor says he has been deeply troubled by the divisive turn around vaccine conversations. While he is urging residents to get their second doses, Dr. Lawrence Lowe says the region will continue to trace and treat those who don't.
We see these patients gasping for breath, fighting for their lives, and succumbing, and we see what it does to their families and loved ones. This is the hell that we in healthcare and public health have been living. So please know that when we recommend that you get vaccinated and ask you to take precautions, we're not trying to make your life difficult. It's about saving lives, ensuring that everyone, all of us, can get out of this sooner and safer.
330,000 eligible residents in Peel are still not fully vaccinated, while 76% have had 2 doses. The region's test positivity rate is sitting at 3.6%, with COVID-19 hospitalizations increasing this week from 33 to 41. And by this time next week, many activities such as going to the gym or grabbing a meal inside a restaurant will require you to show proof of vaccination. But owners of some businesses that will be enforcing the new rules are already voicing concerns over the plan. Lorenda Redekop has more.
In addition to serving drinks and food, staff at this pub will soon have to ask customers for proof that they're vaccinated.
It's not like we've got a nightclub and I've got 4 burly bouncers at the door here that people are going to be able to walk into and say, well, we better not start a trouble here.
He's also trying to prepare staff who will have to inspect proof of vaccines until the QR code system comes into place at the end of October.
We're printing out various vaccine certificates saying they should look like this. But my first shot, I got at Costco, and it's a little card, you know what I mean? So who knows what people are going to be arriving with, and that is the biggest concern. And then if somebody comes in and it's a fraudulent one, is it my fault? How do we identify what's fraudulent?
If there are disputes at businesses, yesterday the Deputy Premier said this.
That if at any point they feel threatened, we want them to call 911 as soon as possible to make sure that our police officers can be there to assist.
Today in a statement, Toronto Police clarified that 911 is for emergencies only, such as an immediate threat or physical assault, with bylaw officers responsible for ensuring compliance. The opposition leader says the government should have added money to municipalities for bylaw enforcement.
Obviously, they didn't do the homework again, and people are confused. There's lack of information, there's lack of communication, and as always, there is no money. Doug Ford doesn't like to spend money.
Companies that are against the certificates, saying they're in favor of medical freedom and don't discriminate, have added themselves to a website. But none of the restaurants I contacted responded to whether they plan to ignore the bylaw when it comes into effect. Back at the Firkin, the president wishes the government had involved restaurants in the decision.
There's exemptions. Well, what do the exemptions look like? How do I deal with somebody who says I'm exempt? How much do I have to dig into your personal life to ask you why you're exempt? So they're not making it simple enough for me to understand it.
He still hasn't decided whether his pubs will require staff to be vaccinated, since customers will be. Lorenda Redekop, CBC News, Toronto.
The pandemic has stalled many things. For thousands of physiotherapy graduates, it's preventing them from starting their careers. There is currently a large backlog of students who have graduated from physiotherapy programs across the country, still waiting to be certified. Our Greg Ross has the details.
So how are you doing there?
The lineup of would-be physiotherapists waiting to be certified has now grown into the thousands.
Around 3,000 people waiting.
Adila Hine-Sumser is a registered physiotherapist who works with international students trying to get certified in Canada. She says the Canadian Alliance of Physiotherapy Regulators cancelled all in-person clinical exams at the start of the pandemic. This is the final element a student needs to complete in order to be registered.
So the last exam that was ran face-to-face, clinical exam, was November 2019.
Since then, there have been multiple attempts to set up virtual clinical exams, but all have failed. In the meantime, Hine-Sumser says students have been left to fend for themselves as they wait to be certified.
Some people, trying to work as physiotherapy assistants, some people working as residents, some people can't work. Some people, I've heard they are even contemplating to leave a profession, right?
This month, the Canadian Alliance of Physiotherapy Regulators gave up on the idea of virtual clinical exams. In a statement, a representative said the board met on September 14th and directed staff to cancel the virtual clinical examination. Staff will focus on the written exam and getting back to delivering a face-to-face clinical component. But it's uncertain when those in-person exams will resume.
They say it could be happening in January, but we don't know. We don't know.
In the meantime, students will have to continue waiting, and the backlog could continue to grow. Refunds for the clinical portion of the exam have been offered to students who want them. Greg Ross, CBC News, Toronto.
Meteorologist Colette Kennedy joins us now with your first look at the forecast. And Colette, this time yesterday, those heavy downpours just starting to reach us here in the city. Tonight, much calmer.
Yeah, it is calmer. Last night, I think, probably a few folks didn't get the greatest sleep with the rumbles of thunder and those cracks of lightning. Well, tonight, the thing that we'll be looking for, a little bit of patchy fog, so that could be silent, but just keep in mind reduced visibility if you do need to be on the roads in those overnight hours. Our daytime highs today, if we could have gotten rid of that cloud a little bit sooner, we might have seen these go up another degree or so, but 21, seasonal for Toronto, 24, the daytime high in Windsor and Ottawa, doing okay there at 23. We do have the clearer skies other than, like I say, especially close to the lakeshore and some of these lower lying areas where we can get into a bit of fog. Now, the models want to pull in a few little sprinkles or some drizzle into the morning hours. I think they're just picking up on some of the moisture content there because really we're looking at high pressure in place and sunny skies. So that's what's ahead, not only for Thursday, but Friday as well. Some differences, though, with the temperatures on Friday. I'm going to talk about that when I come back. But tonight, 12 for your low and 23 for the high tomorrow.
Thanks, Colette. We're learning more details about the Toronto District School Board's mandatory vaccination policy. 3 weeks ago, trustees voted in favor of a vaccine requirement for staff. Well, now the board says employees could potentially lose their job if they don't get the shot. Our Angelina King reports.
No matter if you're a bus driver or teacher, principal or trustee, anyone who has direct contact with staff or students at a TDSB workplace must be vaccinated by November 1st. If not, termination is on the table. But it's not so cut and dry. There will be medical and human rights exemptions.
I think it has to be done on a case-by-case basis. Look at the unique circumstances of each.
Staff without the shot may be subject to administrative or disciplinary action, which could include home assignment with or without pay. Until the new policy kicks in, unvaccinated staff must provide proof of a negative COVID test twice a week. They'll also have to watch a video on the benefits of the vaccine. So what do parents think?
As a parent, I'm happy.
I'm mostly concerned about our kids who aren't eligible for vaccinations, so anything to keep them safe is great by me.
I feel more comfortable sending my son to school if I knew his teacher was vaccinated.
We have heard from members on both sides of the fence.
This union head says while some members have privacy concerns, the organization is on board with the policy.
We do support vaccination of as many people as possible in the schools.
As of this afternoon, 31 TDSB schools are connected to at least one active case of COVID-19 in 26 students and 10 staff. At the Catholic Board, that's 14 schools, 13 students, and 4 staff. As of now, none of the schools meet the criteria of an outbreak and all remain open. The decision to close a school is made on a case-by-case basis, according to Dr. Eileen Davila. She says the best way to keep schools safe and open?
Get vaccinated if you haven't been. Right now, our biggest concern are the new cases of COVID-19 that are emerging steadily in schools. While it is most likely that COVID-19 will be a mild illness in a school-aged child or in a young person, we know that more severe outcomes do occur in some, and that our understanding of long COVID is still evolving.
The TDSB says 83% of its staff have disclosed their vaccination status, and of them, 94% say they are vaccinated. Angelina King, CBC News, Toronto.
Welcome back. The federal election campaign is now in its home stretch, and the cost of childcare is becoming an important issue for one of the most important areas for votes here in the GTA. Toronto parents are paying the most for childcare compared to anywhere else in the country. Our Natalie Collada takes a look at what the major parties say they'll do about it.
In just a few months, the Alcazar family will have 2 children in daycare and expect their savings to take a hit.
Definitely stressed about the cost. It's for 2 kids to be in daycare at once is going to cost us about $3,600 a month.
Making childcare one of the top issues for them this election and likely for many other families in the GTA too.
Toronto is the most expensive city in the country, irrespective of the age group. For parents with very young children, infants, it costs $22,000 a year for one child in care in the city of Toronto.
And it's not that much better in the GTA, where childcare costs just slightly less, between $17,000 and $19,000 a year.
There's lots of folks
talking about it. I think because, over the last year in the pandemic, childcare has gone from being a silent crisis that parents, sort of struggle with on their own, to one where everybody can see how important childcare is.
Here's how the plans break down. The Liberals have pledged to cut the price of childcare in half next year and bring in $10 a day daycare within 5 years. The Greens and NDP support a $10 a day plan. In the Liberals' plan, next year, parents with an infant in Toronto would save $11,200 a year. In the GTA, the savings would average $9,100 a year. And by 2026, Toronto parents would save $19,800 a year for infant care. In the GTA suburbs, the savings would be $15,600. The Conservatives are offering a tax credit, refunding up to 75% of childcare costs for low-income families, similar to the provincial plan already in place. That means a family with an income of $30,000 would see a return of up to $6,000. Those with an income of $50,000 would get $5,200, and a family with an income of $80,000 would get $4,800.
In the city of Toronto proper, the savings would on average be about $1,000 in 2022 from the Conservative plan. And if we look at cities like Vaughan and Oakville, incomes are quite high there. And so as a result, there'd likely be no savings from the Conservative plan. In that case, there's a $10,000 additional savings from the halving of fees, the $10 a day plan.
For the Alcazar family, it also comes down to who can actually deliver.
There's a lot of question marks about how quickly can it be executed? Will the spots that they would be offering at $10 a day be widespread enough that we would be able to take advantage of them?
Natalie Collada, CBC News, Toronto.
1-2 again. Another changeup, and he wallops it to left field, and it's gone.
An afternoon game for the Toronto Blue Jays today to wrap up the series against the Tampa Bay Rays, and a huge game for shortstop Bo Bichette, knocking in 5 runs in the Jays' 6-3 win, including this 3-run homer. With that, Bichette joins Vladimir Guerrero Jr., Marcus Semien, and Teoscar Hernandez as Blue Jays with 25 or more homers and 90-plus RBIs. Tonight's win was the Jays' 16th in their last 19 outings and allows them to keep pace in the AL wildcard race. The team has a day off before hosting the Minnesota Twins on Friday. And you're looking at a live shot of the Toronto skyline. Partly cloudy tonight, clearing overnight. Currently, it's 19 degrees in downtown Toronto. Let's go back to Colette now with a look at your extended forecast. And Colette, a cloudy day for the most part, but we can expect a lot more sunshine tomorrow.
Yeah, Kelda, we're looking at a really nice pattern where we get into sunshine. But not only that, temperatures come up a little bit tomorrow, but we're going to see some bursts of energy with some warmth coming at us. The current pattern when we look at the jet stream, and in general, that's kind of that dividing line between cooler temperatures to the north and warmer temperatures to the south. And you can see this bump here into the eastern prairies. And so some of that warmer air is coming our way. That trough, that dip, that's behind the cold front that brought the storminess last night. So that pushes off into Atlantic Canada, and we see our temperatures begin to creep up. Tonight, I have talked about how a little bit of fog is possible in a few areas, so it'll be a little bit patchy, but it could be somewhat dense in some of those areas where you do see it, so some reduced visibility. Otherwise, as high pressure moves in here, we're going to have that sunshine through the day tomorrow. Late day, we'll see the winds turning, not very strong, but to the southeast. But really, it's more when we get into Friday where we get more of a southerly and southwesterly flow, and that's when the temperatures are going to kind of spike. Some of that warmer air I was just showing you there into the prairies to go along with it. A lot of sunshine on Friday as well. So really a glorious looking day there in terms of that forecast as we head into the last weekend of summer. And then this is the system, the front that wants to come through now Friday night into early Saturday morning. So we could have just a few light sprinkles as we go into Saturday. Still a few days off, so be watching that carefully for you. The temperatures to go along, and again, some patchy fog also possible southwestern Ontario into cottage country as well. Our temperature, it's a low of 12 degrees at Pearson, but Markham, Oshawa 10, a few spots there close by could be in the high single digits for those overnight lows. There you go tomorrow. tomorrow. St. Catharines, you'll grab one a little ahead of the game with the rest of us, up to 24 degrees, but 23 for the city. Friday, there it is, at least 26. I won't be surprised if I see a few 27s popping up there. Saturday, that chance of showers. Beginning of next week, Kelda, temperatures are going to be spiking again.
Thanks so much, Colette. The reimagined Park Hyatt Toronto reopened its doors to guests today, offering not only luxury guest suites, but also 65 luxury rental apartments.
We have preserved one of the most iconic destinations in this city for many generations to come. The project has fully retained and restored its heritage elements, including protecting the views from the south over Queen's Park and the overall skyline of Toronto.
The $400 million restoration of the heritage site was imagined by its owner, Oxford Properties. Enhancements include the iconic 17th floor cocktail bar, which will now be known as the Writer's Room, paying homage to literary legends that have once been guests there. The hotel also features a permanent art collection highlighting pieces from renowned Canadian and Indigenous artists. It also includes a new and improved spa and wellness center, as well as several dining and drink spots with Skyline views. And finally tonight, a SpaceX rocket ship blasted off from Florida tonight, carrying the first all-civilian crew ever launched into orbit.
Go Falcon. Godspeed Inspiration 4. Copy 1 Alpha.
The quartet of amateur space travelers, led by a billionaire e-commerce executive, Jared Isaacman, left the Kennedy Space Center in Cape Canaveral just after 8 o'clock tonight. The flight is expected to last about 3 days from liftoff to splashdown in the Atlantic. The ticket price is technically undisclosed, but Time magazine has put the price for all 4 seats at, get this, $200 million US. The so-called Inspiration 4 mission was conceived by Isaacman to raise awareness and support for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. And that's our show for you tonight. Thank you so much for watching. Dwight Drummond has your next local newscast tomorrow at 6. Talia Ricci has you covered at 11. Have a great night, everyone.